Hello and welcome along to Doz Says What. Today we've got the 1275 GT. Doz states vehicle's running a bit hot in traffic. Now it's not running so hot as it's opening the cap or anything like that, but it is just ticking up above the hot line, not where we want it. So yeah, what we've done is under the wing and behind the radiator here, you can see the wiring coming out. We've fitted an auxiliary electric fan. Oh, I can see it from under the wing. I don't suppose we can because it's actually on the radiator. You can just see the top of it showing in there. Look. It's an 80-watt fan. So we thought about this before we got before we fitted the radiator, and yeah. So we did think this was going to be a problem, so we shall work a way to alleviate that problem. Right, so we need something to switch the fan off. Now I've tested it by just coupling it straight to 12 volts switch supply, which is works great, but obviously it takes a little bit longer to warm up, and as it's a great big lump of cast iron, it does take a little while anyway. So what we need to do is get some sort of controller. And what I've done is I've bought this on eBay. It's a small electromechanical, I suppose, bimetallic strip type temperature control. And this bulb contains either an oil or a gas or something, runs up this capillary tube, pushes a bounden tube, I should think, in there, which causes the switch contacts to open and close. You can hear it. I was amazed actually last night. I was just testing it on the bench how accurate this degrees calibration is. It's not far out at all. I was amazed. It cost about £11 on eBay. So there we go. We've got one of those. So what we've got to do is we've got to take the top hose off and sort of insert that bulb part down inside there, and this wire, the tube here, the capillary tube, it should just sneak out underneath the silicone rubber hose there. We need to then obviously connect the terminals up. There are 3 terminals on there. I believe ones are normally open and normally closed. They're marked on the bottom. 1, 2 and common. So we'll need to work out which is normally open. It's rated AC 240 volts 16 amp. So our fan pulls 6.5 amps. So that's where we're going. I've 3D printed a little snap lid type enclosure. The escutcheon came with it. So I'm just going to fit the control into the box, and then we'll look at mounting it somewhere. It might just sit in there, mightn't it? How big is the box? We might be able to get it to just sit in there or up on there. Yeah. So let's mount the control in the box and come back to it. Okay, I've mounted the thermostat and the escutcheon onto the little lid of the box there. On these contacts on the back, I just had a quick check on the bench. Pin 1 is the normally open contact, that's the one we want. So as the temperature rises, there's continuity between 1 and C for common. 2 is the normally closed contact. We won't be using that in this application. So yeah, we need to make some wiring up. So I've already made a ground lead up, so we can attach that. Note the type of receptacle I've used on the end of there. That's a male one, if we're allowed to say that anymore. That matches to a female on the fan. The reason we use a male on ground is if it does accidentally come disconnected and touch the bodywork, obviously it's not going to short anything out. So we're going to put that on there. Temporarily we're just going to hang it up over here. I shall put a bit of that conduit on it after I finish the job. And I'm just going to ground it. Now you can't see that. Let me just get the handy cam. And that hit record there we go. So you can't see that, but it's just grounded on a stud that's actually used to secure this brake line, but that's a really good earth, that one. So I shall use that one. Okay, so So I've got a washer. There's already a washer on there already. I'm putting another washer on just to stop the nut from spinning it off. We've got a nut. There we go. So that's going on. We need a tool to tighten that up with. I actually have it in my pocket. So there we go. There's already a load of wiring up under the top of the scuttle here anyway, so I'll tidy it up with that. Okay, that's good. That's tight on there. So we're going to have to take this top hose off. I should get a tool to do that. Is it going to be that one? It is. Undoing. Right, we are going to find some water escapes. Coolant, I should say. It's not water, it is coolant. It's not that water wetter stuff that is banned from racing circuits because it's very slippery. Waterless coolant, do they call it? It's not that, it's just ordinary antifreeze. So, is our hose going to play, or is it just going to be a pain? No, it's playing. Jolly good. So, water coming. There's not much, it's only in the expansion tank and everything's cold. So that helps. Right, so this is going to live up here, I think. So, you want to sort of gently uncoil the coil. Let's concentrate on getting this bit in first. So I'm just going to insert that into there. I'm going to push the pipe back over. There we go. So I'll do the clamp back up. Not liking the amount of play that's in this ratchet these days. It's done a lot of service though. I've had them since I was probably 20 years, I should imagine. So that's our capillary tube now in the top hose. This of course won't get hot until the thermostat, which is in the top of the cylinder head here, opens. It's an 88-degree thermostat. So that should then supply hot water to the radiator. Okay, so we need to sort of position this sensibly. Before we do that, we better put some wiring in. So let's focus on dodgy old mini electrics. So you can see here, this is a modern fuse box. Originally this had a Lucas fuse box in it that took sort of 1.5-inch fuses. This is a one that takes modern blade fuses, because the ones with the 1.5-inch fuses, they're very old and corroded now, as was the rest of the car when we had it. But hey, the top two circuits are sort of the high current circuits, so there's what we're interested in. So the top line is an ignition switched feed, and the one underneath is a permanent feed. Now I'm in two minds as to which to connect really, because obviously if we've been running around the place and it's hot, the fan will be running. Switch the engine off. Do we want the fan to continue? And I think yes, except for one thing. I don't know how the alarm that's fitted to the car would cope with that. So I think for now, I can always swap it over later. So for now, I'm going to take my feed from this top, which is on the ignition switch. So yeah, right. So we're going to need some wiring. I've made some holes in the box. So let's go and fabricate some wiring. Okay, so I've prepared one of these inline fuse holders. I've got one of those sort of spades that allows you to piggyback another on there, and I've stripped that end. So now we need to, so that's going to couple up to our top lead for now. It's going to come across the top here and round to the common, you can't see that, it's going to come round to the common terminal on our control. So I've got some suitable wire here, so let's just sort of eyeball that. Where am I coming from? I'm coming from the fuse box. Minus that, up under there. So we want to come round. Yeah, that should be enough to hang ourselves with. So I'm just going to cut a length of that off, strip the ends. You're probably going to ask me what size wire this is. I have no idea. Oh, it's 2.5mm square, tri-rated stuff, so yeah. Or at least it says it is. But it must be said there are two colours on this roll, so I suspect one of the rolls got destroyed, and there we go. So there we are. That's nicely stripped. That's nicely stripped. We need to fit that with a couple of crimps. Right, a box of crimps saves the day once again. Okay, so butt splice. I think I've got a bit too much copper showing there, but hey, it's easy to make it shorter. Note use of ratchet tool, not that horrible thing they give you in those crimp sets that just, you can't get enough squish on them and they always pull off. Sanity check, just give it a pull. That's really good, so pleased with that one. On the other end, I shall want a spade receptacle to fit the terminals of the thermostat itself. So repeat with that. You don't want any wiring showing here, folks. Make sure that's all within the insulation of the crimp itself. Okay, so we're going to need that in the other end of our butt splice. So let's get that done. So I'm just going to hold that in the crimpers with one notch on. Is that good and secure? Oh, it's lovely. Okay, fuse everybody, because, you know, setting fire to your classic car's never a good idea. So our fan draws 6.5, maybe 7 amps when we're up at 13.8, 14 volts. So I'm going to choose a 10 amp fuse. I'm just going to put that in our fuse holder, stick the cap down. Yeah, because that's not going to be live at the fuse box end. I'm going to... Ah, no! Fail. Epic fail. Failure to put wiring through hole in box. Stupid boy. Oh, and it was going so well. Right, we shall cut the crimp off again and make a new one. Idiot move rectified. Brilliant. Okay, so that's going to sort of sit in there like that. That'll be lovely. That's going to go about there. So that's going to be lovely. Let's move the bonnet stay over to the other side so we get a better view. Right, okay. So, where did we get to? Well, we need a short wire now between the terminal of the fan up to the... let me show you that on the wobbly handy cam. And that's it, recording. So yeah, that's our box. I'll just move that out of the way. So this time our switched positive is going to go on that, which you can see is a male thing, because if it did come disconnected, we've got a female one here, much less likely to short against anything if it's rattling around in here at speed. Right, so let's make that up. Not forgetting, of course, this time to put the bit of wire through the box first. Well, maybe not first, but let's get one end on. Very pleased with these new snippers I bought from eBay, by the way. Thank you, eBay seller, you were very good. In fact, I must leave him or her some feedback. Him, her, or them. Yes, that's it. So, a receptacle that identifies as female. That is going to go on there, so that's going to connect to our fan. There we go, that felt good. And yeah, it's super tight, that's good. I'll put it through the box. I'm going to strip the end. Which I think that may be a little bit long. Yeah, it's sort of over double the length it needs to be, so I'm just going to crop a bit off. There we go. Okay, on this end we're going to want another receptacle that identifies as female on this end, so it fits on there on our number 1 terminal. Put it through the box first, put it through the hole in the box. Hole in the box is too small, and drop that on the floor. Thankfully we have a reaming tool, so we can make this a little bit bigger. Lovely. Did my wire make it to the ground? No pun intended. So, wire through the box. Oh, and I'm bleeding. As always. Right. I need to get something to fix that to the inner wing. I shall be right back. Right, I'm back. And what I've gone and got is a reel of this stuff. This is 3M Scotch Dual Lock. You'll be able to see on the packet if I can ever get it out. It's good stuff. It's got that wonderful sort of 3M smell about it. Of the adhesive they use. So, what this is, you haven't come across it before. It's expensive is what it is. This is about £12. This reel. It's 2 meters, I think, or 3 meters. But it is, it's like Velcro. And with one difference. It doesn't identify as male or female. It is just a they. Let's get my pronouns working here. So, yeah, there's the dual lock strip. And what it does is it actually locks with itself. I'm not going to lock it on fully because it's really very, very strong stuff. Right? If I interlock that in properly and squish it all the way down, I'll have to almost prise it apart. And not only that, but the adhesive backing is really strong as well. So I'm going to use that. It's tangled itself round the tripod. That's better. Okay. This stuff we use in broadcast for hiding transmitters about the place. So that sounds all very cloak and dagger, doesn't it? It doesn't. you know, underneath a piano, for example, was one particular application. So I'm just going to cut a bit there. And cut 4 pieces, 3 more pieces I should say, the same length. And 4. It really is super strong stuff. Like I say, the adhesive is super strong as well, so we really are not going to worry about it coming off. First things first, let us stick 2 bits together. You can see it really does mesh together very, very well. It's got a bit of flex in it as well, because this isn't going to be perfectly flat either. Mind you, neither is my 3D printed box. It's got a bit of a gentle curve. I've got a bit of warpage. My printer really isn't very good at PETG. So yeah, I must spend some time, you know, with it, setting it up properly, but hey, it is what it is. How much of my time, of my life have I wasted trying to pull double-sided sticky tape apart? I'm sure I've said that before in a former video. Right, there we go. I reckon there be. Got to watch where the hinge goes. Maybe it will be better off down here. Have we got enough clearance to allow for the bonnet to close over the knob? Go down a bit. Let's try it. If it doesn't work, you can always peel it off. It will be a pain in the backside, but you can peel it off. I wonder if we can set it down there. Nope. No, I think, oh, of course, on the top there would be just ideal. You know what, just about got enough room there. Just about in there would be perfect, wouldn't it? That's where it's going to go. Brilliant. If you want the model for the box, by the way, the 3D print your own, I shall pop it in the description below. It'll be a GitHub link, because I'm still sick and tired of Thingiverse. See, what we need to do first is just clean that area so the adhesive gets a chance to stick. I shall be right back. Shiny. I can just see some black smudges on there, so it's the former greasy fingers. Right, let's fix the box into its resting place. Of course, being in this position as well, it will be assisted by gravity. You can lift the car up with that. That's how much it's stuck. That's fabulous. Right, I shall make the connections. So this one connects to the fan. Ooh, new crimps, very tight. That's good. There you go. Okay. That's the outer 2 terminals, C and 1. Let's get the whole thing to fit into the box. It will go. It will go. You know what? I might need to bend those down a little. There we go. That's what's holding this back. And that capillary goes through there. And the lid snaps on beautifully. Okay, so take that down this side of the rad. One important thing, folks, make sure your wiring is out of the way of all rotating parts, as is your jumper when you switch the thing on. Right, I'm going to tidy that up later. So, I'm just going to pull that off there. Come on. Come on. You know you want it. Pop up. Come on, come on. Okay, you're going to be stubborn. That's alright. I have a tool for stubborn. That's it. She's out. Right, where is our replacement bit of wiring? Okay, so I think we're going to want to be that way up. So I'm going to want to attach my existing connector onto that. And make that connection there. Okay, push that home. Yep, that's good. I'll tidy that wiring up in a minute. So I'm currently set to cold, so it won't come on until water's probably about, I don't know, it's quite a warm day. It's probably, I don't know, 15, 16 degrees C out here. So let's switch the ignition on. Just turn that. We should hear the pump start. Right. Contact. Right, you can hear the fuel pump running. So if I advance this, we should hear the fan kick in. Ah! Fabulous. Off. On. So that's operating. Too cold, too cold, too cold. It's operating at 20 degrees. I've connected this to the wrong contacts, haven't I?
You stupid bum.
Okay, second idiot move of the day. The connections we need are, of course, the normally open contacts C and 2, so that when we get up to here, it's running. So currently that should be on because it thinks it's too cold. It thinks it's too hot, even though it isn't. Contact, yes, that's right, it is currently hot. And if we turn the thermostat up, so thermostat opens here at 88 degrees, so I reckon we're going to pitch that at about 90 degrees, and that should keep us cool in traffic. Right, I think we may need to top off the radiator, and that is job done. Only 2 stupid mistakes, that's not bad really, not bad. Super Cold Master Concentrate, that'll do. If there's any left. Oh, look at the lovely blue colour. That's it. That's topped off. Now I suppose start it up, take it for a run, make sure we've got no leaks. Where did I put the cat? There. Hiding in plain sight. Well, that's about it for this one. Thanks for watching, and don't make the mistakes I did. Like, subscribe, all that rubbish, and see you real soon. Cheers. Bye.
You